just real quick, I want to talk about this because it is New Year's Eve. You showing up is a big statement to not only playing beach volleyball, but also who you're going to be in life. And I always thought when I was younger, and still to this day, like if I can be more consistent than somebody else, let's just say I've done this before, and I'll use this as an example. Not, I haven't done this with him specifically, but let's say Kilty is stronger than me, okay? He's stronger than me by 30 pounds on the bench press. And I know that if I can get 2 workouts in a week without overtraining, and he's only getting 1 every other week, or maybe he's working out on Monday, then the next week it's 10 days later, then it's 3 days later, then it's 12 days later, and his consistency is off. I've always been confident if I can build up consistency that I'll be able to catch him. I'll be able to make, this month I got 1 pound stronger. Next month I got 4 pounds stronger. Now I'm 25 pounds away. Okay, that's 2 months. Okay, I think in the next year I can catch him. You see what I'm saying? And so showing up and being consistent, you can literally beat people that are better than you, that are inconsistent. And it shows that you're here, that you want it. And maybe it's not being an Olympic beach volleyball player, but you want to be great at something. Because what's the alternative right now? Where's everybody else at? It's a holiday. They're probably doing what? Partying? Hanging out? I mean, well, here's the thing is, there's a time and a place for that. You know, it's gonna be New Year's at 12 a.m. tonight. We're gonna start a whole new year. The thing is we can still get better while we're having other things going. And that doesn't matter if it's Christmas, if it's a birthday party, because these things happen every day. Right now, I guarantee you know somebody that's having a party, it's their birthday, it's a cousin's birthday, they got family in town, something like that. And these are all things that will steer you away from greatness. I'm gonna tell you something personal about myself. When I was younger, the people closest to me were constantly trying to pull me away from my goals. And I thought because they were family and my best friends that they cared about me. But it was all conditional. It was conditional in the sense of, if I do what they want, they love me. If I make them look good, they love me more. But literally, my dad, Malachi, just turned 17. When I was 17 years old, the night before district championships, my school hadn't been to a district championship in 30 years in basketball. 30 years. The night before, my dad was drinking with me. Now think about that. I mean, 17, I was pretty old, but my dad was giving me alcohol when I was Christian's age. And I was telling him I wanted to be a pro athlete, and he was like, oh, it's cool, let's hang out. And I hung out with my dad. We hung out and drank. Now, I'm not saying my dad didn't love me, but was he literally thinking about my best interest or himself? And you may have a parent like that, you may have a best friend, a brother or sister like that, and those are really hard situations to go through. Because you're like, I love you, and that's, I guarantee you, one of the hardest things you're gonna go through in life, if you start leveling up and if you try to achieve greatness, is you're gonna have to say to people no. People that love you, people you love, you're gonna have to say no. Where I'm going, this is not a practice that needs to be involved with where I'm going. Right? So Benja, if you're gonna be a great athlete, if you're gonna be super strong and somebody's trying to get you to smoke or stay up late or hang out, hanging out's a killer too. So my point is, showing up today, great job on building up that consistency, because all of you guys are being consistent. And how many more consistent days can you build up? And now take it outside of beach volleyball and go home and do it in something else in life. I'm gonna talk more about this on Tuesday with the whole group, but I'll bring it in right now. So the last 3 days, I've been reading this book, and the book is talking about detoxing our stimuluses. How many stimuluses do we have? And Coach has a phone over there. She's got an iPhone, and that iPhone is literally made for us to stay on there as long as possible. And the thing is, it's a magnificent invention. It's better my life in so many ways, and so many others. It gave me so much more time. But the thing is every app on there, everything that's on that phone is built so that we stay on that phone as long as possible. And what happens when we're on the phone? We're not usually getting better. So I found myself in the last couple of days taking all that time that I had been on my phone. You know, I'd work, oh, I'm gonna answer an email. Oh, now I'm gonna look at some other emails. Now I'm gonna get on YouTube. I'm gonna watch this video. Now I'm gonna check my Instagram. Now I'm gonna check my text messages. Now I'm gonna check my email. And it built up to about 3 hours. None of that was really needed. So I'm reading this book, and the last 3 days, I haven't been doing any of that. And you know what's happened? I've written 60,000 words in a book. It's about a couple hours a day for 3 days. I mean, I already have the information. I just put it out there. But instead of literally, I found that instead of looking at my Instagram, my Facebook, YouTube, emails, text messages, and just cycling that, there's like 2 or 3 hours. And I'm like, wow. And then all of a sudden I want to do it. And then I found out the more I check that stuff and the more that I'm on there, the less that I want to do things that I really want to do. If that's working out, having a conversation that's meaningful, or doing something on my goal list. I got a goal and it's like, oh, but when I'm checking on my phone, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that goal. Oh, I feel better over here. This doesn't seem so appealing. So caution of that, we're gonna talk more about it on Tuesday, but that's kind of leading into what we're gonna talk about next week is getting away from the stimuluses in our lives, because we're all overstimulated. On Thursday, Kale will be here, and I'm gonna show you guys something he did, but just basically he hasn't been allowed to have any electronics. Right, Mom? Mm-hmm. For the last 2 days. So last night we come home and he's been working on this Lego car. He built a model car out of Legos that looks like something that you would put in a frame. I mean, it's spectacular. These Legos are like this big, and he built a perfect model of a car. Why? Because he doesn't have his phone or his apps on his iPad. So he's not just sitting there scrolling and messing with different things. So what did he do? He picked up a model car and he built a model car in 2 days. It probably took him 15 hours, but that 15 hours over the last 2 days, I guarantee you he was on his phone or his iPad watching videos. And we walked in last night, we're like, he's like, Mom, you know, Michael, look what I did. And I'm like, wow, that's the best thing I've seen you do in the last 3 years. Honest truth. So think about that when you leave here today. And I honestly don't even want to pick up my phone anymore, because I'm like, how many of y'all have Instagram? All of us, right? And YouTube and emails. Some of you guys aren't in emails yet, but you will be. Let me ask you this. What has that done for you in the last 2 years or the last year? Has anybody replaced their job or made a fortune off of it, or it made them better? I mean, it's a hard question because it's so fun and cool, but yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get this is all we're doing today. Okay, we're gonna go through these 15 and then we're gonna call it. So let's go for like 45 minutes. Last thing is, this is the start of a new year. When we're doing this stuff, let's make it, hey, this is gonna be the start of a new year right here. Okay? So let's put in the effort and be consistent and focus to really start that consistency for 2024. Does that make sense? So when we go today, this is day one on putting a fantastic, excellent, the best year of our lives moving forward. And it starts right now, right here. Does that make sense? You guys all down with that? All right, let's break it down, guys.
Play forward on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Play forward.